2024 finally concluded, and along with that, we were brought many TDS updates, probably the most out of any year TDS is updated in. And in this video, I want to rank each update TDS brought in 2024, ranking them through S to F tier, to see which one is the best, and which one probably could have been worked on a little bit more. So, without further ado, let's get to the ranking. Also, subscribe and like the video if you enjoy. Thank you. First update is the Krampus' Revenge update, released back in December 2023, but was still the newest thing to be brought into 2024. They brought an actual good Christmas event, unlike the last one before Krampus. You got an extremely good support tower, that being the Crowmancer. This update also reworked a massive debuff.
And you know what else is?
That being freeze. Before this, the freeze debuff would stop an enemy instantly in its tracks for a number of seconds. Now the enemy has like a freeze bar, and the bar must be 100% before the enemy is completely stopped for a number of seconds. This indirectly nerfed Sledger a tiny bit, but it wasn't the worst thing to be changed. And speaking of change, all of the ice towers were basically reworked. Freezer and Frost Blaster being reworked, and Sledger's stats being a tiny bit tweaked, which made them all pretty good ice towers. And one last thing is a bunch of tower prices were changed, which is fair. Before this update, towers like the Minigunner and Ranger received overpowered reworks, so obviously coin prices were changed to compensate for that. Other than that, it brought Christmas skins, a code which gave you a deluxe crate, which is very generous, and another battle pass, which had some pretty decent rewards with it. I'd rate this Christmas update an A tier. It was a pretty good start to the year. Next update on the list is the Content Creator Skins update. In this update, many popular content creators got skins. Those people being Elite, Corso, Propellers, Tweaking, Wiki Colors, Encrypted, and Isaac. I'm gonna rate this one just to see. It only introduced skins, but it also introduced the idea of content creator skins for other content creators. Next update is the Crook Boss rework update. The only main thing that was in this update was just the Crook Boss being reworked, which made him probably one of the top 5 towers to use in this game, and also some bug fixes. So you know what? I'll give it a B tier. After that, it's the Trapper Tower update. This added the Trapper Tower, which is the newest Evergreen tower since Engineer. Quick FYI, Evergreen means like a tower that stays in the game's shop, so towers like Shotgunner or Minigunner. It also brought some changes to the game, like normal mode finally being balanced properly, and some buffs for Engineer, Shotgunner, Necromancer, and unfortunately a nerf Jester. I'd rate the Trapper update an A tier, because I really fucking like the Trapper, and also buffed some other towers and finally made normal mode easier. The start to rework in all the main modes. The update after the Trapper one was ass cheeks. It was just bug fixes and teasers, so F tier. The update that was being teased was the TDS Hunt event, which was a little event for the major Roblox hosted event, which was called the Hunt, and it was like the first event in years, and it kind of sucked. This update was a pretty solid one. It was a decent little mini event, and you get a couple badges, and it was definitely the most effort put into an event out of all of the games, which is typical for TDS to own this title. So I'd say this update's a B tier. Cool event. Next update, which was the military base rework update, and the cars became even cooler. B tier. Alright, so the next one I don't want to talk about that much, but we did get Chad Minigunner, which is kind of cool. The fucking Skibbity Toilet April Fool's event. We're not going to comment on it. We're going to put it as a C tier and move on. The update after that was the Mission Quests update, which added very cool skins you can get from exclusive missions. They also added some rebalances, but the most notable of them all is the long-awaited Golden Cowboy buff. And for that it gets S tier, because this was like the most revolutionary update for me at least. Forgot until now, but I'm going to quickly mention 1.18.4. It was just some changes, some bug fixes, and I'm going to put it in F tier. The next update was another Evergreen tower release, which was the Mercenary base. The Mercenary base is very unique because it is the second Evergreen spawner tower that is in the game, but you also have to put it near a path, and also offers 20% damage. So it is a very powerful spawner tower, and also some bug fixes happened, which, you know, probably equals A tier. Next update after that was more bug fixes, so another F tier. The update after that, however, was one of the biggest content drops up to that point, which was the addition of Intermediate mode. Intermediate mode is one of my favorite modes that has been added to the game. The theme behind the mode is really cool, just being more basic zombies, but it sort of has a lot more backstory than just mindless Roblox zombies. And I also think the trailer for Patient Zero is one of the best trailers I've seen. One criticism I have with the mode, though, is the removal of the tank modifier on the Reavers. I think they should have kept it because it gave the Reavers more character, and and also the mode more character, which became a trend in the other mode reworks, like Fallen Squires having the aggro modifier. But, you know, the mode's still solid nonetheless. And also some good balance changes happened, so intermediate update deserves an S tier in my opinion. However, the next update, even though it only added one main thing into the game, I believe this was one of the best and most controversial updates in the game's history, which is the Consumables update. I say it's one of the best updates and most controversial updates in the game's history because Consumables are broken as shit. They destroy a mode's challenge. Timescale tickets help so much with speedrunning and grinding coins. Revive tickets, when they do work, made hardcore so much easier because you can revive at the point in which you died. Gambling tickets because gambling. It's fun. And to top it off, Commander got a good rework, so this is like the easiest S tier I've ever given. After this, we got the Brawler update. Brawler on release was insane because he had hidden detection, which was fucking stupid, but whatever. We got him and also some cool balance changes, nothing too special. I'll give it an A tier because Brawler's a good tower. Next update after Brawler is just another mini event, and this one being the event for the classic event that Roblox was hosting. And like the Hunt event, it was kind of shit and also don't really have much to say other than TDS had the best event out of any of the games, which is typical. Like I said, I'd give it a C tier. It was a solid tiny bit of content. Next update is some more hot garbage. It was just skins and bug fixes, F tier. Next update, version 1.25, introduced challenge maps along with a new Ace Pilot rework. I'll give it an A tier because Ace Pilot became like insane. 1.26, we got the American update. Okay, so I am actually pretty dumb. 1.26 is not the update that introduces the patriotic commander. It's technically a mini version of an update that is associated with the Ace Pilot rework version. But 1.26 is still just changes and bug fixes, so it still gets F tier, but it's not the American update. After that update, we finally got the long-awaited Fallen mode rework update, and I'm gonna say F tier for obvious reasons. It overall increased the difficulty of the main modes, which was much needed, and it had some pretty interesting ideas incorporated into it, like the aggro modifier, which I haven't seen before, and some other cool things like the 800 jesters on wave 39. We also got some pretty unexpected tower buffs that made them viable for Fallen. And of course we got the remade Hidden Wave, which had you solve a puzzle for it and is overall way harder and more satisfying to complete. So yeah, obvious S tier. The next two updates are just Fallen skin additions, which I'll give both C tier since they gave you something to do because they were mission quests, and it also gave us some more balance changes, which is cool, I guess. The update after the Fallen skin updates was the DJ rework, and even though it was just the DJ rework is an insane rework for the DJ tower, making the DJ a much better support tower for the DJ tower in the DJ rework. A tier. 1.30 was peak being brought into the game, the Miku DJ skin. When I say it was peak that they brought her into the game, the way of getting her wasn't really the best in my opinion, especially for the amount of Robux she was going for. So Miku update is C tier because it's fucking expensive. Next update was more skins and balance changes, F tier. Fuck's sake. The update after that was another Evergreen Tower release, which was the Gatling gun. Arguably one of the other most controversial updates in the game because of how powerful this thing was and still is. Now personally, I don't think it's too much of a problem because you need to be level 75 to even have the ability to buy it. But when you do get it, this thing's stupidly fucking overpowered. It is stun immune, it has hidden and flying, insane pierce, and does insane damage. And I'm gonna give it an A tier. While the Gatling gun's insane DPS tower, I don't really like the tower and I don't really use it that often. Personally, if I were to choose, I'd rather have another A tier tower that has like another interesting gimmick. Although the update after that wasn't much better. More balance changes to modes and bug fixes, another fucking F tier. Oh my god. The next one was just more balance changes as well, but they did make Slasher available, so that was kind of cool. So C tier for Slasher. Although the next fucking update, there was no Slash. It was just bug fixes and Patient Zero, F tier. And the one after that, more fucking balance changes, F tier. Finally, after nothing happened for like weeks on end, we finally got content. TDS Hexscape event, and it brought us a lot of content that we were waiting for. Unfortunately, the Hexscape brought another 3-night system. I don't know why Halloween always has 3-night systems. Whatever. We got a really good tower rework, which was Slasher, a cool battle pass where people were crying over $5 for whatever reason. Aside from all the controversial bullshit that happened, I'd rate the Hexscape event a B tier. It wasn't really groundbreaking, and this is kind of typical, unfortunately, for Halloween events. I really think one aspect as to why they've kind of been bad recently is the 3-night system. I personally don't like the night system, and I also feel like it's been overused. Solar Eclipse was cool the first time, but now it just feels overused. The event also just was not that interesting, and a bit of an explanation is revealed in night 3. A cutscene happens that reveals that this event was just build up for Operation Ice, which is the Christmas event. Plus, we didn't even get to fight Lord Exo for like the 18th time. I really think TDS should stop doing night-based events, and rather than explaining a small piece of the story over 3 nights in multiple days, they can just do a quick little event and explain a little piece of the story without dragging on the event way too long. And so for the Hexscape updates, night 2 and 3 go in B, but I think night 1 goes in A tier. I think night 1 is how the rest of the night should be going forward, just short but sweet, because night 2 and 3 were way too fucking long in my opinion. The update after night 3 was just F tier, more bug fixes. The update after that was the Please Donate event update, which is C tier. I didn't really like it, honestly, but it was still some content. 1.42 was an interesting update because Commando came back as a rework, and it only took the rest of the event towers before him to be reworked, except Swarmer for whatever reason. While Commando was completely shit on arrival, the buff he got on a later update did make him better, but for simplicity's sake, I'm gonna rank this version B tier, even though this version's Commando was shit, but he got buffed later on. He's good now. And we move on to one of my favorite updates so far. Even though it was just one rework, it was the best rework to come out of all of them in my opinion, the Pursuit rework. Even though it was a single tower, I'm gonna rank it S tier. Pursuit is one of the best DPS towers in the game, and it was because they gave him actual survivable DPS to work with and the ability to move anywhere. And he's also a fucking helicopter, so he's cool. This update was the one that also buffed Commando, and more balance changes I guess happened. Another week, another pointless fucking update with balance changes. C tier. Why, you may ask? This one reworked the way you can use Trapper. Now, these specific traps encourage different playstyles. Bear traps are slow but big damage, mines are fast and good damage with decent crowd control, and the spikes are average speed with good damage and good crowd control. 1.45, the next update, was the one that introduced the last of the mode reworks, that being the Molten mode rework. Molten mode was now shifted from easy difficulty to hard difficulty, and gave us another modifier associated with that mode, the Corpse modifier. Also gave us some interesting enemies, and I think the Molten Warlord is one of the most fleshed out bosses in the game. Still S tier though, I think it's good. Finally, we arrive on the last updates of the year. Operation Ice at 1.47, and these two go up in S tier for two very different reasons. First, I'll talk about Operation Ice. I think this event is way better than the Hexscape by a long shot, even though it's extremely long, which I agree was way too much. I don't think it should have been 40 waves. I still think it's a lot better than Hexscape though, because Operation Ice wasn't too complicated, and also I really enjoy seeing Frostspirit get the much needed glow up he needed. Another port is the rewards, including the Battle Pass and the towers. The Battle Pass is a lot more consistent to grind with because modes have constant bell drop rates per wave, which is a much better improvement, and the event towers are very different from each other. Snowballer is complete ass, but Elementalist is probably one of the best event towers to be brought into the game yet. While she is extremely annoying to micro her abilities, she can hit hidden lead and flying, does great DPS with the ice turret, okay support tower with the amount that she freezes, and is overall not that bad for the price. There were a couple other things like admin mode, which means making clips is a lot fucking easier. There were some limited time consumables, and I think the skins are a whole lot better. And for update 1.47, it's in S because Sledger got reworked and became a fucking god. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you very much for watching. This is my completed tier list, and if I were to choose a favorite update out of any of these on the list, it would have to most certainly go to the Fallen update. It brought a whole lot of good things, and I also think it really highlighted how much Paradoxum can do given the right amount of time, because they turned, looking back, an overall like mediocre like final mode into like one of the best modes I've ever seen in a tower defense game. Yeah, like I said in the intro, subscribe, like the video, I'll see you later. Good night.